getting out of the comp studio and getting into the real world. So I think we have two wonderful guests, Sonia Possetti and Damián Bolotin, and they're here working at Emory through the weekend. I think some of you will be playing in orchestra or playing in orchestra. Their big concert is Saturday night at 8.
Yep.
So, and this whole event, residency, is put together by Dr. Wendland. So I think I will turn it over to you just to sort of set the stage, and then we'll go over the presentation and get right into things.
Okay, I mean, it's just going to, you want me to stand up so we can be, I'll stay here. Just to say a few words about them, as Dr. Mirza said, I know a couple of you are already playing in orchestra, so you're going to get an exposure to their music, but I would say these two musicians are quintessential tangueros. We call tango musicians that they're performers, they're composers, and they are, what am I missing? Performers, composers, performers and composers. And so they do everything. So they write, they arrange, they play, and their music we call now the music of Buenos Aires, and it's the contemporary tango music. So that's what they're going to be able to tell you about. And just if you haven't gotten your ticket yet for the concert on Saturday night, make sure you stop at Schwartz at the box office, because you have to get it in advance. Of course, some of you are playing in the orchestra, I know already. So anyway, I'll really just turn it over to you guys and welcome.
Hi to all. Well, let's listen if you prefer to begin the class. To an introduce to the tango. I don't know if you had listened before today, the tango. Yes or no? Yeah? And what do you know about tango?
Well,
Piazzolla or traditional?
I know broad genres of like Latin music, bossa nova, tango. We have what else? What am I missing? Samba, rumba.
A mix, Brazil, Argentina. A mix.
Yeah.
The music from Brazil and and from Argentina. The tango is from Argentina, especially from Buenos Aires. It's a music that began with the arrival of la llegada.
When the arrival of
a lot of people from Europe and some of the Africans that were in esclavitud.
Mm-hmm. That were mixed together and
esclavos.
Oh, they were enslaved.
Slave?
Yeah, the enslaved.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, the tango was in the under of the like the blues.
Mm-hmm.
It was the music of the
Clase baja.
The low class.
the down class, the worst, and at the beginning, at the
Finales.
1880. And then the musicians that arrived to Buenos Aires from Europe began to listen the music of the dark people. So they thought, oh, this is interesting, and they took the rhythm and began to mix with the melodies and the harmony and the structure of the classical music. It was a big salad, a big mix, and in 1920 we had the tango that now is known like traditional tango. With a structure very clear, part A, part B, and in a lot of occasions, part 3 too. Do you understand my English?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
And, well, obviously this tango was enveloped.
Developed?
Enveloped. No lo entiendo ahorita.
Develop.
Developed.
Developed, yeah.
And the tango always was very open to other music, so that it was changing. Each generation was changing the structures and the tempos, and so now in this moment the tango is has catching or tomando
Is taking?
is taking a lot of influences of from the contemporary music, the serialism, the
Just
micromodes, changing the language, not so functional harmony, and we are going to other languages, but trying to not to lose our
roots.
identity. You know?
Yeah, the roots or the essence of the tango. Yeah.
I don't know where we will
And
end.
It's a
Or
journey.
where we will stop, I don't know.
it's a journey.
The music is very alive.
Evolve.
Está viva.
Está-
Está viva. Very
It's
alive.
living. It's always
living.
changing. It's evolving.
The tango never stops to grow. Every day is changing, so that we can show you different tangos that we play and we have composed to have an idea what is tango, okay? And then you can ask what you want, okay? Ponele lo que quieras.
Como-
For example, my first tango in my life.
This is the first ever?
Yes.
The first tango.
Well, this part that we listened, just listened, is the part A. In general, sorry. In general, in the traditional structure that I mentioned before, the part A has a theme, a melody, and that something like 8 bars, and then repeat the same 8 bars. Listen again, and I compose with this structure.
No, es un iPhone.
usually the in the traditional structure, the part A is very rhythmic, and the part B is melancholic. In the case of a 3-part, it's indifferent. No ever is equal. Mm-hmm. Maybe rhythmic or melancholic too. Other thing very usual is that then you present the part A and part B, the first melody and the second melody, one time or other time, then you can do the variation. Like in the classic music, this is an influence of the classic music, the variation of the melody. Maybe a variation of the part A or part B. Okay? Listen, this is the part. The dominant and tonic. This is very traditional in the tango, and we call this, we name this end chan chan in the slang. So, do you listen or again? Do you want to listen again, or do you want to ask something?
Are you improvising in any of the, is it todo escrito, everything written, or some improvise? Were you improvising at all?
In this score, no, it's all is written.
Even Damián?
There are some shades.
Yeah.
No? You know which is shades.
Yeah.
It's some Barroco.
Ornamentation or
yeah.
Ornamentation.
And like these extended techniques and yeah.
Yeah. No?
that's
That's not written.
right.
But Barroco music or Renacentista?
Yeah, like a bordadura.
Bordaduras, listan.
Bordaduras are neighbor tones. He puts in, they use a lot of ornamentation, and she's saying from the Baroque, like the Baroque ornamentation.
Yeah.
And that's up to you, right? I mean, you're free to interpret.
In some places?
Some places see and others no.
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 Your question?
I just had a question about the notation. This is something I haven't encountered before in bar 34.
I will. This is a cluster in the most low notes, the white notes only, that I play with my palm. I can show you. It is a percussive effect. The notes are not important, but the effect is to try to get a sound like the counterbass, because the counterbass in this place does like coleño, something like that, and an effect percussive too.
So in the beginning, the tango was only melodic. With the ball in the time was melody plus harmony, and
Yeah.
and after all the instruments need to do some rhythmic elements to enrich the three parts of the music. No? For example, the violin is only melodic for some music, no? Or harmonic. And you can use some effects in the tango as or yeah, to make some rhythmic elements to apport to enrich the tango.
The cluster that I told you is with my hand here, and the moment I play it, I put the pedals because I have to go to a chord and I stop the pedal. I don't know in this case what it was.
I have a different score now.
Let me see.
All right, here.
Yeah.
Who creates this style is Pugliese, Osvaldo Pugliese, in the 40s.
For example, it's for a moment, not a whole piece, but for a moment to give energy and power. It's very important for the pianist in the town. A question?
Are you using this palm to hit those notes to accentuate the second beat, the second and fourth beat?
This is a good question. The cluster is in the 2 and 4 beat, but the accent is in the first and third beat. So. I am doing the accompaniment. No? In this case, that I am the solist, I have to do the melody here and the accompaniment here. But the accent is in the first and the third. Yeah? It's okay?
First and so 4, 1, 2, 3.
1.
Yeah.
1. Yes. Look at the score at the bottom. I play that. Yeah?
Thanks.
Something else? With this piece, or we can advance another? Okay.
Bailarina. Milonga. Milonga, parece milonga.
Ah, no.
Sí.
Okay. Sí.
This type of music is not tango, it's milonga. Milonga, there are two types of milonga. Urban milonga is most fast milonga from the city, no?
Mm-hmm.
And country milonga. Milonga, slow milonga, no? This is urban milonga.
Can I say something?
Could you
about
read or understand the score? Okay.
When we play this in the tango ensemble, this is always everybody's favorite. La favorita. La favorita.
All right. When this was one of my first compositions that when I kept the traditional structure, but I was beginning to introduce the jazz language and another influences. And when I composed it, that wow, in Buenos Aires was what is happening. Sonia, a woman, and she is not from Buenos Aires, and she used another structure. Oh, but now it's a very popular milonga because it has the sense of the music, keep the structure, keep the functional harmony, but without permission, I put it some scales out of the tonality. Did you listen? And it was very advanced in the moment that I composed. Now it's okay. Now it's legal in the tango. Well, the bailarina had 3 parts. Did you see? Yes, one with a lot of notes, very rhythmic, and the part B is with long notes, and then began another part with a lot of notes too, and we rotate between these 3 parts, and the version in the CD has a solo with percussionist, but alive when we play together, only 2, you and me. We do the percussion with the violin, and we can show them.
Yeah.
No? Okay. Let me see. Voy a esa parte.
Yeah.
Como para ir al solo,
Yeah.
como para ir al solo en esa parte. Tu último tema, ¿sí? Ahí. Antes del solo de percusión, así mostramos eso. Si no, lo toco yo solo y agarrar el solo, y listo.
No sé dónde estás agarrando. Decime
Antes,
el número.
el solo de percusión vamos a hacer para mostrar los efectos que hace. Caja, tambor, chicharra.
Okay.
And begin again with the part A. Any questions? Okay.
What are you actually hitting against the violin to do the percussion back here? Are you hitting the bow against the violin? Oh, your finger. I see. I was about to say that's kind of.
See, there is a lot of rhythmic effects, no, on the violin. For example, this called swipe. As you swipe, and this is important because imitates what the guitar or the contrabass to mark in the tango. For example, no? Another is what I do in ballerina, no? For example, no? This is called látigo, as with lions.
Yeah, a whip. It means the whip. Yeah.
There are two types of látigos, short and long, no? Or all rhythmic effects, no? And the chicharra, what more?
Means cicada. Chicharra means
Tambor?
Tambor,
tambor.
snare drum.
Snare drum. Looks like a bar outfit.
Yeah.
Perdón, perdón. Caja, box, ¿no?
The cellos and the counterbass can do this effect too.
Yeah.
The top of the good part.
And gota,
Drops.
drops.
Raindrop.
And that you just stop the string anywhere. It doesn't matter where your fingers.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
No, it's important to not do harmonics.
right, avoid the harmonics.
mute
right,
them.
yeah, muted.
Yeah.
Any question about
So
this
is it
piece?
Baliana, right?
Ballerina?
Baliniana, right?
Ballerina is
It's a dancer.
mean
Bala-
dancer.
Yeah. Ballerina is what? Is it a subtype of tango?
No,
Milonga.
it's a milonga. There are three rhythms in the genre tango. One is tango, the other is milonga, and the other is vals. And at the beginning, the tango and the milonga was like twins, without possibility to separate, because the tango was played very fast to dance. Tum, 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 tum. Very fast, and then when the tango left to the whole left
When it let go.
to be popular. It began to be the elite. Wow. Only to the important people. So that the audience was más chica, menos gente.
Fewer people.
Less people,
Yeah,
less
fewer
people,
people.
because the elite is few people. So that the tango went to the concert, salas de audiencia, salas de conciertos.
And the clubs. Blues.
No, to the
No,
theaters,
concert
to the
clubs.
clubs, but not to places to dance with a lot of people. No, so that it began to be a music only to listen. So that it began to be more sophisticated and more calm. And the tango began to be in 4 beats for bar, and the milonga kept the 2 for bar. We write in 2 for the milonga, in 3 the vals, and in 4 the tango. Yes.
Is milonga ever improvised, or? Because Kristen, you played this one, right? I recognize.
We played Ballerina.
Yeah, I've heard you do it. Do you play it exactly as it's written? You do. Because it's
Yes.
not a typical
This-
jazz program like 2-5-1. It's
Uh,
just a sequence, right?
Sorry?
The progression is just 2-5-1. It's
Yeah.
all a sequence, right? So can it be improvised, or?
We can improvise, yes. On Saturday, we have a part for improvisation, and the part with orchestra is all written.
Oh, okay.
And Laura,
Yes.
when we play this, when you've heard it, the violin, and there's a part in this for the violin solo. to be improvised. But most is written.
Okay.
Otherwise, at least in the version we play.
For example, in Buenos Aires, I have an aggregation, a sextet with trombone, tenor trombone, that is a very new sound for the genre, violin, piano, vibraphone, percussion. Vibraphone is the same percussionist, and bandoneon and contrabass. And in some of our pieces, we keep a place to improvise, but it's not usual in the agrupations. In general, all is written. Something more?
I just saw like you did like with those special sound effects with the violin. Is there any other like kind of different sound effects beside the harmonies like you can do on the piano, like the one you just did, slapping with your palm?
Another sound.
Yeah.
The piano has less effects than the strings. One of them is this one. One of the ways to the accompaniment is the marcato, that is different in the other musics. For example, if I need to accompany with a major chord, I put in my left hand the chord in arpeggio. And then A minor, for example, no? In my right hand, I will put the same notes, the chord, only with fifth, not much more in the traditional way. In my way, I put a lot of extensions, but in the traditional way, the accompaniment is only tonic and the third and the fifth. And I put the chord in different octaves. I will play with the octaves. And I can change the position.
The position.
Inversions. Thank you. And in the dominant, I can add the seventh. Okay. This is the traditional way to accompany the tango. In the milonga, it's very similar, but we include the rhythm. But I like very much to mix with Brazilian music, so that in this arrangement I put some accompaniments that are not traditional, like this. But in my left hand is the milonga. I mix. I think that is so much light if I mix this.
So, on the piano effects, can you show compañías? The compañías?
Okay. Another ways to it's a rhythm function. It's not to generate a melody or nothing like that. It's only to rhythm. If I am doing the melody is in another instrument, and I can do this accompaniment with octaves in the high part of the piano, and in the higher, I put an appoggiatura. It's very common.
Oh.
Not me.
I just want to follow up on some of these, because in your whole talk is dealing with this topic of a traditional form, and then how you guys are like sort of bringing in different influences, and even the extended techniques. Also, so much of what we hear, I feel like, is so has such a vitality and an energy to it. And I think when a lot of students, as you're working on your pieces, it can be just striking how much oh, I'm so sorry.
You are so fast.
Yeah, just how changing the octave can have a huge effect. How the accent, how the articulation, how adding a slight one alternation between the left hand
One
and right
is
hand.
legato, and the other is rhythmic and staccato. There are a lot of secrets for one class. Sorry, but I try to write with all the decoration. This is one of the characteristics of the new composers, because in the past our teachers, or the big teacher of the tango, didn't write nothing about articulation.
Accent, articulations, the high dynamics.
Piazzolla too. You look the Piazzolla tangos. It hasn't the points of the ¿cómo es ligadura?
The slurs
Slurs.
and staccatos.
And we can interpret it because we know the language. But if you or in anywhere in the world you want to play tango, well, it not sound like the audio. What happens is the articulation, the accent that are very important. And I don't know if you noticed in the other piece, the piano solo and the violin solo in the part B was different in the part, because when we have a melodic, a romantic part, we have the opportunity to express differently. I'm trying to put all in his exact place, but it's possible that when I play, I will do it different. To understand, especially in the romantic part, not in the rhythm part. All is rhythm.
We should move on to Puerto Rico, I think.
I was just going to say something like also you was asking about special effects in the piano, but you can also use it as a percussive instrument. You can just like tap. You know, like you start your tango, Piazzolla starts with that, right? And then piano you do right?
Like maybe with the okay, yes, of course,
Yeah.
yes.
You can always
Here
do
and
that.
here and
Yeah, you can tap. And
yes. We use all the parts of the wood of all instruments to do noise.
And you just put tap. That's when you're right.
To
And you put a
percussion.
rhythm, yeah.
There was a pianist that died a few years ago. That he had a different personality because he mixed the jazz and the tango, but he was very strong to play the piano, and the cluster that all we do with the pan, she did with the wow, very strong. So much.
So she,
Another thing that you can do, but is from the contemporary effect, not so common in the tango, is to I put it in bailarina, but in another version, in my quintet version, I put it in the percussionist solo. I was doing this. No. Wow. Something more? No?
Were you kneading the strings, or what were you doing then?
Sorry?
What were you doing with the strings inside?
Here?
Yeah.
In this effect?
Yeah.
You can see. I only mute the last and put the pedal. It's not very comfortable. And then I do the cluster.
You must make yoga.
Let's continue with
Tiene
another
un password, please.
excuse me.
Thank you.
Should I pass these out?
I don't know if he wants them now or.
And this is a modern piece by Damián
¿Cómo hago para bajar?
with another language.
My computer?
Yeah. 3 minutos, lo pico y voy a estar aquí.
Hasta ahora pico.
Ahí. No.
This is one of my compositions, but it's not traditional.
Should I pass the score or wait? Should I pass the score?
Yeah, please. I composed one CD for string quartet only. I like to all the time to break the rules. This is my way. But this is the way I compose this piece is serial music with some thing that called Allen Forte table, which Pierre Boulez evolved this table to make some serial music more complex.
Can I just introduce, because I'm not sure, not all of the students.
Okay.
So basically taking different combinations of intervals collections, say minor second and a major third, or 2 major thirds, and taking those different combinations as your musical motives. That's what he's talking about.
This is not tonal music, no? You can listen, for example. The form, I remember now, sometimes musical, critical music,
Critics.
Music critics?
Report.
yeah, music critics asked to Eric Satie what form was their work, and he said, "This is not important. My work is a form of pair."
Form of a pair.
Bueno, in this way, my work is A, B, B, C, D, D, A, B, C, D, C, coda. This is my upload work. And listen to that.
Did this skip section C, or did I?
Did I?
Did I miss it? Because I didn't hear the 332. Dot 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 dun 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 dun.
I didn't.
Yeah, I know, I got lost.
See?
Yeah, I mean, in any case, it seemed like perhaps it skipped from C to the coda, but I'm not sure.
Open improv. I don't know.
In C.
Open improv.
Okay.
Okay.
All the time when you see. ¿Cómo es? Corchea con punto.
Dotted quarter note.
Yeah.
No, corchea is
Corchea con punto.
dotted eighth note.
Da,
No,
da,
corchea is a
da,
quarter
da,
note.
da, 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 da,
No,
da.
ta. This is one of the subdivision
Yeah.
in the tango. That what you use it for Astor Piazzolla, no? 3-3-2, the subdivisions in the compass of four.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So double.
This is 3-3-2. This is the milonga.
Mm-hmm.
When you play the milonga, the slow milonga is pam 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 pam. But this is the country milonga. The Euro milonga, as that, is pam 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 pam. Or for example, Verano Porteño by Astor Piazzolla. Pam 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 pam. This is 3-3-2. When you play tango, habitually is, the mark is in the 4 beats, 4 negras,
Quarter notes.
4 quarter notes, no? For example, you can accent the four, or you can accent the strong beats are the first and the third, no? Etc. And you can make 3-3-2, no? This is a mix of subdivisions I compose in this, I use in this work, and with atonal harmonies.
So what strikes me is each of the instruments has a particular role.
Yeah.
Sometimes they interlock.
Yeah.
And then the rhythmic, I mean, we talk about tonal, atonal, but what I hear in this is like the rhythmic, the vitality, and that kind of holds everything together,
Yeah.
and then the different sort of patterns that you move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The combination is polyrhythmics and polyphony. Polyphony.
Sí, para eso les podrías mostrar sonido.
In some, for example, in the C, letter C, the second violin was a trama. How do you say?
Tremolo?
Trama.
When they are not a figure and the back.
Or the back?
All is in the same plane.
Como un tejido. Un tejido.
Do you mean like
How do you
here? Do you
say-
mean the sustained? The sustained harmony?
No harmony.
No.
Es,
No,
una trama. Hace
Background?
un tejido. ¿Cómo es el tejido?
Uh,
De pullover.
something-
Glue.
plot.
Trama.
It's not accompaniment, but not melody. All
It's
the
a
all the part,
background.
A background. that's
all
right.
the part.
Yeah.
It's not melody, but it's
While the cello is.
Two very different characters,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you have them at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first violin.
Solo and different rhythmic patterns.
Yeah.
polyrhythm.
You can
Dee,
go
da,
with
da,
different.
dee, da 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 dee,
Yeah.
da
Yeah.
da da.
Yes.
da, da.
it's,
Yeah.
it's like construction in layers,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And polyrhythm and
and the total is important. Not each one of the lines.
And for example, in one moment, all the four instruments of the string quartet go with the same note. Wow! What is this? C major.
But the role, I think what you're talking about is right, especially with the contrabajo, with the bass, to be the foundation part.
In the page 7, you can see clearly the same accompaniment that in milonga, but in 4. Mixing. So that the accompaniment appears twice for bar.
Sorry, which this
You
is
know,
page
in
7
page 7,
at the
this, all these, pam, 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 pam. If this comes, viene, this comes from the milonga,
Yeah. The 3-2-2.
but it is in 4.
Yeah.
It's really striking at the end when everyone unifies on one rhythm
Yeah.
for the first time.
If you want to see
Mhm.
this version in live,
Can we turn it around?
Yeah.
Good.
With an improvisation.
Yeah, let's see that.
I improvise in some place.
All right. Ready?
Yeah, please.
The idea of melody and accompaniment disappears in space. It's another, well, it's evolution. Do you notice the difference?
Do you want what mean hora pico?
Yeah.
Rush hour.
Yeah. Rush hour.
Rush hour.
Or
Oh,
peak
that
hour.
makes a lot more sense.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you're writing this, I mean, did you sort of collect a bunch of different texture ideas, or did you just what was your process of writing this? Did you just write forward? Did you follow the violin? Did you Do you remember how you wrote this?
Buenos Aires is a big city and a chaos. Life in Buenos Aires. One time I was driving and I ¿cómo se dice? Tuve que esperar. I had to wait 40 minutes.
In a car. Without.
Wow,
Like here.
because
Like here.
because strike.
Oh.
That's not like here.
It's regular here.
Different. And there are two ways, no, to go to this composition: psychoanalysis or write the music.
But the process was in different parts. You can, le puedes contar cómo lo armaste, eso es lo que te preguntó.
Sí, ya sé.
Primero con
una
violín.
melodía, y tocando.
Sí, playing the violin.
Playing the violin.
Playing the violin.
'Cause they're all at the beginning of working on their string quartets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you composed this from playing
Yeah.
the violin.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This piece,
Yeah.
almost this piece.
Yeah.
Not all this piece. Not all the pieces, but this piece playing.
So you improvise. Would you record yourself?
No.
Or just write down, just remember it.
Yeah.
And then you think about the other parts?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you started with the violin part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you influenced by Bartok quartets? Was it beginning and
It's
then
really,
over
yeah,
time?
yeah.
I say,
Uh-huh.
I listen a lot to Bartok
Alright.
and
Miss Tonga and his other quartet, Miss Tonga, also is, you can hear Bartok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. No. Si quieren preguntar algo más.
Do you want to ask anything else?
We are for you.
No, this is wonderful. I don't know if any of the other students, including myself as a student, have any other questions, but we can keep talking afterwards also. Does anyone have a final?
Are you bored? No. Oh, okay.
You know, Anucha is working on the gamelan pieces, and there's some connections here between the gamelan, the layers, and the polyrhythms, or kind of ideas. Yeah.
Who played again? You?
Yeah.
Wow, I like it so much.
Yeah. We should go take them and visit the gamelan.
We
should do that too.
Yeah.
Si quieren.
Vamos a visitar el gamelan. ¿Mañana quieres?
Sí.
Okay,
claro.
es al lado del our room, 107.
Yeah, I was going to pick on a few more of my students. So Ryan, you wrote a tango-inspired piece last semester.
I did.
Do you have what do you think coming into this? Out of do you have any thoughts?
I really enjoyed the extended techniques.
Yeah, that was something I know you tried.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to make more use of it. It's just, it kind of sometimes daunting to notate. Not quite sure how to put it down.
Do you understand? ¿Cómo escribe efectos?
Depende, hay muchos, there are a lot of effects to write, but
Latigo.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot of times it's
But
like,
that Vega won't necessarily know how to play that.
no, then you have to look at my book.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Because he demonstrates.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
On my book's website, he demonstrates, and Sonia demonstrates piano, they demonstrate a lot of these effects.
Is that the one in the library?
Yes, in the library, and then also we have a table of how you notate
I
it.
have
Yeah.
some of
Okay, yeah, check it out. There's a
explicaciones
companion
acá
website
en la chicharra,
where you
pero
have
ya
to
se
put in
busca.
the user, there's like a book code and a user password at the front of the book, and it'll take you
Acá
to the
tengo-
website, and you can go to the videos in chapter 3, and then look at the table.
With symbols.
Yeah,
For example,
yeah,
tambor,
yeah. So they use, or chichara, they use the X's,
Chichara.
yeah.
and then we put notes with
Yeah.
the
Oh,
explicación.
Yeah, to explain
To
a little
explain,
table of explanations.
um,
Mhm.
Látigo, maybe like this, or yes,
Okay.
yes.
And it's like a gliss, but then you have to
Uh,
put in
maybe with
lactigo.
the
The X,
X
Yeah.
or with una flecha.
a little flag.
Grace?
To
Or
the
flagella?
Fleta,
Harmonic? No.
Oh,
Oh,
an
arrow.
Yeah, an arrow, that's right.
arrow.
That's right.
Fleta,
Okay.
going up, no? To an indefinite note. Guitarra, yes. You can choose your symbol differently for each effect. Maybe other composer put another, not encuadrado,
Yeah, it's not. It's
no
what-
text, and put a line in diagonal.
It's not standard.
Yeah.
And of course, it's
Not
difficult when there's a tradition. The performance tradition is so strong. So
Yeah.
players know what these techniques
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
We
challenge.
now all the composers
Yeah.
put the notes
Mhm.
with the like here note strapata in the contrabajo no puedes hacer no there is another effect in the contrabajo
Okay.
a percussive effect.
So they do explain everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
like contemporary effects.
Right. Right.
And this is one of no traditional effects.
Huh.
Sirena. Sirena is the ambulance.
The ambulance. Yeah.
Ambulance, the sound of ambulance,
Yeah.
but you use not as rhythmic effect, but melodic, as a melancholic and sad effect. For example, in the final of 10, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. You know,
tango.
Okay, go.
it's all there.
All right, we should end there.
It's
You guys
a
can-
very
Yeah.
profundo,
Deep, very profound, very deep.
deep
Yeah.
music with the heart in the tango.
I put the hair.
I am sad,
Oh,
very
wow.
sad.
Well, thank you so much. This is awesome.
You could go to the concert
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Make sure you get a ticket in advance at the box office.
It's gonna sell out.
Yeah, I've heard that it's almost sold out. So make sure. Luckily, you don't have to worry.
My parents though, so I know.
Oh yeah, go get
tickets for
them.
them. Yeah.
Sam is playing horn
Wow.
in the orchestra.
Yeah, I've never played tango music with horn before, so it's very interesting, very fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Is anybody
See you
else in the
tomorrow.
orchestra?
Yeah.
Yeah.